Looky here, it's the Pat and JT podcast.
Pat and JT podcast.
Who said that the other day? Something about it doesn't matter when you jump in. It doesn't matter if it's shallow or deep, as long if you know how to swim.
That's what Carol said the other day on the Pat and JT podcast.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, Carol Sprunk said that.
Yes, she did.
Doesn't matter how deep the water is. If you can swim, just swim.
If you can swim,
Doesn't
jump
matter
in.
if it's a foot and a half. Well, a foot and a half you could walk.
I think
Terrible analogy, but
I think it'd be hard to swim in a shallow
shallow.
shallow
because you keep hitting your.
Well, yeah, you can't touch. Yeah, if you can't touch,
It
I mean, if
should
you can
be-
walk, you walk.
when you basically get thrown in the deep end, it doesn't matter how deep it is if you know how to swim.
Land shark.
There you go.
Land shark.
Kind of. Okay, we have Chip Thompson on the podcast here with us.
Oh,
Chip Thompson is the digital graphic genius behind everything that we're doing here at Parkville
Right?
Media.
We have the digital goddesses out there. This is our digital god.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I don't know.
You build
No
rock
pressure.
stars.
You
It says
build
it on your
rock
website.
stars.
I think I'm hearing lightning and thunder.
What's your website there, Chipster?
It's actually pretty easy. It's chipthompson.rocks.
.rocks. There we go. He does
I
build
love
rock
that.
stars. He's awesome.
Yes.
So we thank you for everything you've done for us at Parkville and for our podcast and everything. We appreciate it very much.
Yes.
We haven't had a chance to
Thanks
officially
for the
thank you.
opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah, you got it.
You are more than welcome.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been fun.
Yeah.
We are.
You can say what you want. This is the whole HR. Everything's right here. So just go ahead and
Oh,
say it.
you'll just edit that part out. He said what?
He said yes. Well, we could actually make you say about anything.
Yeah, we could.
Oh, that's true.
Think about that.
Yeah, that new AI stuff. What is
Yeah.
that? What is that called?
Artificial intelligence.
No.
Oh.
Well, yeah,
Like,
that.
wow,
Right.
This really?
We
No,
hired
that-
the wrong
We had
guy.
him guy?
There's that new technology that you see where they switch Tom Cruise's face onto somebody else or whatever.
Oh,
Face swapping thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't know what
So
we're
you
talking
could make me say anything.
Basically.
We won't do that though.
No, we
Pat
don't.
and JT are awesome.
There are sites out there. I just saw one the other day was what's it called? Obama Talk to Me. Yeah, that
Talk
somebody
to You?
had, and it's a website. You type it in, and then in his voice, it's
That's
done.
awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
there, and you know there's one for like everybody like that, but I
Sure.
just happened to see that the other day.
Years ago, there was a greeting card company online, and you could send a friend a greeting card, and William Shatner would wish you happy birthday,
See, and they still.
regardless
That's
of
awesome.
what your name was.
That's
It's like, how do they do that?
I love that. Then they still do stuff like that. There's still several stars that are still part of those. Cameo, I think is the name of the service, where you can get them to leave you a voicemail or do your voicemail,
That's awesome.
or
For sure,
all kinds
yeah.
of things like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd do that.
kind of cool.
Now, do they get a royalty every time they
I
mention
think they
a new
do
name?
because it costs so. It's not real expensive, but I doubt very highly that William Shatner does anything for free. He's a very smart
Right,
man.
I've heard,
right?
I've heard
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, long time ago.
Damn
Short
it,
story. You're the Odd Couple, Jack Klugman. Okay, long time ago. One of the women that worked for my dad, and she was one of his agents, and she was out in California. But she came from the let's say the entertainment world initially, and so she had a lot of old school friends. And she had been once a long time ago. She was a Radio City Rockette. Many
cool.
moons ago, right? And now since then she'd moved on and she's working in the horse industry, and that's how I ended up getting to know her. She was very good friends with Jack Klugman. So way before Cameo ever existed or anything like that, he was her voicemail. When you got her voicemail or her answering machine
that is
probably at
very
the time,
awesome.
it was Jack Klugman saying that Vita wasn't around right now, but you could leave a message, which was really cool
And
at the time because everybody
that's
knew who
very
he was.
Unmistakable voice, too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
cool.
And I doubt he got paid for it.
So,
Yeah. Yes.
so do all ex dancers go into the horse industry?
I don't think
afterwards?
so.
Do all ex-dancers
Well,
go to
you
the
know,
horse
I don't think
industry?
so.
It's
I
like
think this
that's
is
where
an
the-
anomaly.
That was a good question, though.
She's an old mare now.
She's
Put her out to the field,
out to pasture.
That's
and then later glue.
Yeah. Well, that's terrible. No.
TBT to being alive, I guess.
Oh my
Dang it.
God. Anyway, so you're bringing to the table kind of a
this
cool
one.
idea. This very table right here, a cool idea. You have an interest in something.
Yes, I do. So I am. Well, at least I tell people that I am a creative person.
That's
You
what you
are.
told us.
Yeah, we bought it.
We bought
Yep.
in, man.
Yep.
You did.
Yeah.
So no. So creativity is interesting. And the longer I'm alive, I run across people, and I because I am a designer.
Yeah.
I have to be creative. That's kind of part of the job description. But creativity isn't just about design. It's not about pretty colors and all that kind of stuff. There's creativity in almost anything. And so I thought, wouldn't it be cool to talk to people in jobs that maybe you don't think, you're like, how are they creative? And you know what? What's even cooler is they might not even realize that they're creative.
First thing that pops in my mind is that funeral home that you talked to out in Nebraska, western Nebraska.
They're in central. Yeah, they're in like 7 or 8 little towns. Grand Island, the biggest of them, notably. But Apfel Funeral Home, they're a phenomenal follow on Facebook. They're hilarious.
Really?
They also they very creatively balance both the seriousness of what they do
Sure.
with a great sense of humor. And it's a lot of fun. It's not shocking when they have, they do the respectful announcements
Right.
that you expect from a funeral home or education, but then also they'll turn around and they'll do some just hilarious posts, and they'll interact back and forth.
Right.
Memes.
Unexpected memes like crazy, and they're good. They're good
Well,
at
see,
it.
and
So somebody works in that office. That's
Right.
It's like the unexpected, and you're right but funeral homes in general, that's always been to me, it's been like this. I never realized it until I lived in Grand Island, honest to goodness, and I met one of the funeral directors there. Hilarious guy.
Right.
He was the director, I think, for the state's Funeral Directors Association.
Okay.
And I think he was at that time anyway. And he said, you should come to the conference. It's hilarious. And I'm like, I just can't even imagine. You have funeral directors conference.
I bet it's lit.
I
bet
think
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I know I'd be dying to go, but
Uh-uh.
that was
I
too
knew
obvious.
that.
Too obvious.
Wait.
Too-
Yeah,
You'd
I'm
get
sorry.
kicked out.
See,
Yeah.
I'm fired. This is the last podcast I will be doing. And so, but what I envision is talking to people and finding out how they use creativity or how they're creative in doing whatever it is they're doing.
Those
So,
unexpected pockets.
take a
you find.
mortician.
Yeah.
How fascinating it would be to kind of look back, and 'cause they'd have to be creative, right? They have to make this person, this body, as look as amazing as they were.
Especially that's a whole nother field right there. When you talk about beauticians, there are beauticians who specifically only work in the funeral industry or in the as far as in funeral homes,
Right.
Yeah.
right, and things like
Cosmetics too.
Cosmetics is as well. That's their specialty. And you wonder, they've got to have a sense of humor. 'Cause
Yeah.
most surgeons also.
Good sense of humor.
You hear about doctors having weird senses of humor that maybe people on the outside don't appreciate.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it occurs to me that maybe you choose that path. Like if you're a beautician, you choose that path because you know that they can't complain if you do something
Oh
wrong.
my gosh.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe you don't have to worry about talking.
Nobody's
Right.
going to be talking
During your
back.
yeah. Or sometimes I can imagine with as being someone that does hair, if they're having a bad day and they have 5 or 6 clients and they just want to talk, and the last thing you want to do is that. You got a body laying there and you're doing his or her hair. It's like they're not going to say nothing. Just do it.
Well, and if they do,
I'm no longer doing that job anymore.
exactly.
And maybe so creativity too. Maybe what you're talking about necessarily isn't always sense of humor. It could be, like you said, or somebody said, it's not. They might not even know they're funny, or they might not even know they're being creative. They're just doing something different, and so maybe it's not necessarily a sense of humor, but
It's
what else could it
interesting,
be?
One that you mentioned too, off the air, and we'll go down that, is the woman who is in charge of the service department at a car dealership, and I know one in particular is Bev, and she is at Huber, and she's awesome, and she knows everybody, and she just was the greatest person to deal with every day.
Well, and I think that creativity can really enhance the experience of the customer. So, typically, if you're like me, you wait till something's broken and then you take it in. And so, you're dealing with somebody that's in a pretty stressful situation because you're like, how much is this going to cost me? I have a red
Not happy
blinking
people.
engine light.
There you go.
What do I do? And so, creativity is all the way to how do I deal with these folks and make their experience. So I have to disarm them in a very stressful situation and provide service. And oh, by the way, if I'm really creative with it, they're going to have an amazing experience. And
Right.
if they ever have to come back, I'm who they're going to come back to.
Turn a negative into a positive. Nobody wants to go to the repair shop. Nobody wants to go to the service department. Now, even if your car's in fine shape and you're just taking it in for the oil change.
You just don't want to go.
It's like, oh God, it's going to be an hour out of my day.
Right.
Sit in this room and watch a TV on a channel I don't like because
Dr.
somebody
Phil.
else has the clicker.
Yeah.
At least the place I went to offers free cheese sticks, so you can sit there and eat.
Oh, that's a good deal.
There you
So that's
go.
I thought that was
I think it's a
pretty
great deal.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, go have some cheese, Mr. Thompson, while we work on your car.
It's glorious.
Interesting thought. But yeah, it's true. There are people that have figured out ways to creatively disarm people or take care of their customers when they're in a stressful situation in particular.
Right. Or solve problems, you know.
Or even before any of that happens, like when you have like Burger King and McDonald's going at it on Twitter, or you have the Bulls in the end of the football season, the Bulls talking back and forth with each other.
games?
Yeah, like they give these people that give their businesses a personality.
Who are these people too? I want to know what jobs they were in before there was Twitter.
Right.
Right? I mean, these
That's
people that
true.
run those accounts and they're good.
They're funny, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are. They're really funny. The people that come up with that kind of stuff and that give, you start thinking of brands or businesses as their own entity, and these people give these businesses their life. Like they give them their personality, and I don't even know if they really realize they're doing that.
And to stay on point.
Yes.
Well, and isn't it true that if you have a really good experience with a company, regardless of what it is, they become that company. They become that brand.
Yes.
And so, you know, that's, again, you know, I just think that there's so many opportunities to talk to people. It's always fascinating to ask people what they do for a living. But to talk to people who maybe they know they're creative and maybe they don't, but I would have to believe that there is creativity involved in just about every job there is.
Or lack of it.
Right.
I'm going to say
Okay.
there are definitely some people that are in jobs that you're like, man, customer service ain't your thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm
Right.
just going to
Yeah.
say, you know,
Should have picked something else.
Do they not have a basement for you?
Right. It's like,
I think
man,
maybe you should.
It's got to be like getting them going to work every day has got to be like putting on pants that are too small every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
And are the people that have
don't
that bring
wanna
that
do
life,
this.
are they the people that can't wait to get out of bed? Like they can't wait. They love their job so much. They can't wait to get there, have so
Yeah.
much fun. It's like a part of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I would, you know, and maybe we're going to find this out, and maybe it's not, but I suspect that the people that do get to use their creativity in some manner probably do look forward to their job a little more.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, creativity is a very personal thing. You know, and I think most people, part of the reason I want to do this podcast is most people just think creativity is something that designers do or artists or, you know, songwriters, entertainers.
Yeah.
And if you can see that, no, creativity is not just that. You know, that is certainly an aspect of it, and it's probably more that's in the public view. But I think that people that find ways to make their job creative are the ones that have more fun at their job.
I agree with you. It's a huge asset
Absolutely.
to be able to do that. I mean, when you're looking for somebody, bosses, when you're looking to hire somebody, the more creative person might actually be a better fit than somebody who's got maybe they've been doing it for a long time, but they don't have the creativity and they aren't as
Got all the degrees. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes
Right.
it's that creative type person that
It's a dude down at Taco Bell in Lincoln that would always, at the drive-through, you probably a handful of times, Beth and I had him when we went through Taco Bell. We went through Taco Bell more than a handful of times. And he'd take your order and he was so happy. And when you'd be done with your order, he goes, all right, see you, come on down to Taco Town. And he just used all of his personality would shine through. And he was you could tell he was having fun. Whether he was or not, he faked it really well,
Right.
but he loved his job.
right.
You know, what's funny about that is I wonder if he used to be in Lincoln. I mean, in Omaha. Because I remember going through a couple times Taco Bell up north, and I would go through, and it was like listening to somebody on the radio.
Yeah.
He was like DJing
Yeah.
through the Taco
Through the
Bell
order.
drive.
That's awesome.
It was fantastic.
Maybe he got traded from Lincoln to Omaha.
Yeah, maybe
in the
so.
Taco. Yeah, the Taco Bell draft.
He got picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They had to trade
Yep.
2 fry cooks and a cashier.
And an
But-
entry level employee to be named later.
And a year's worth of all you can eat burritos.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what we're looking for, kind of, right, Chip, is if any suggestions from somebody, maybe a specific person at a business, right? A specific person at a business that gives that business. You go back there because of that person, or
I hope they are the ones that work with you.
Yeah.
Right? You know, hope that guy's working on the floor, or you hope that guy's selling cars, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
or the accountant that you're like, oh my gosh, how do you do this job? You bring so much life to this job. The creativity they bring to that job, which would be a job that I would just bash my head into the wall every day. But maybe we're looking for those people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or the people that you really don't like and you want to take them down by letting other people know what they're like on a podcast.
Awesome. Love that. Or those people.
And that's just you
my
being
God.
creative.
The revenge cast.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great idea. Write that down. I love that.
Revenge cast.
I'm going to be able to, after this next podcast, I'm going to be able to tell people, I know, right?
Right?
That's right.
We could do revenge cast. You could even change their voices.
Yes. I love Revenge Cast.
Oh, that's an idea.
Might have to
The
look-
possibilities are endless.
It's very creative in here.
It is. So Creative Bits, starting working on it now.
Yes.
And it'll be launched in the next
That's not what
few
I
months.
thought you said. That's so funny.
Really? What do you think I said? That's word?
No, be creative.
Oh, got it. Creative Bits. Oh, got it.
Creative Bits.
That's another podcast. What's up, Creative B? I'm writing.
was
See,
like, wait,
Chip,
no.
what we get out of
See,
this?
this
you
is
go.
creativity happening right,
right.
here. We haven't even started this,
Right.
and here it is.
That's
It's-
awesome.
It's amazing.
Haven't even started the motor.
That's right. Well, Chip, thanks for coming in today, and we'll let everybody know when Creative Bits launches.
You want to say it
Awesome.
now, don't you?
I do. Now I can't not say it. I got to say bits.
Bits,
Bits.
kibbles, and bits, and bit. Yeah.
Oh
Thank
my
you, Chip.
God. Thank you,
Great.
Chip.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You
This
got
was-
it.
This is a blast.
And your website, chipthompson.rocks.
Yep.
.rocks. There
Makes
we go.
rock stars.
Want to thank Kugler Vision for supporting our podcast. They have basically from the beginning, and it's much appreciated.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They
Have
really
somebody
have.
like that with that amount of credibility, reputation, and community involvement behind your
World
podcast.
class.
Yeah, world class.
Leading edge, definitely when it comes to taking care of your eyes. And also love hearing from people who have gone ahead and scheduled their consultation. They went in and they did have the procedure done so they could ditch the glasses, ditch the contacts, and they found out how incredibly life-changing it really is. I've done it. Pat's done it. A lot of our friends have done the same thing. We even had Matt Schick when he was back in town. He had his eyes done.
Yep.
He looks so different without his glasses. I think he just needs to wear glasses with no lenses because I miss him with the glasses. But he's had him his whole life.
Yeah.
And it's life-changing when all of a sudden you don't have to. And for some people, when you go in for your consultation, it's a same-day procedure.
Yeah, could very well be.
Very well,
That'd be
so.
pretty amazing.
Get online at kuglervision.com. Look for the consultation tab. You pick the day, you pick the time, and you go in and find out why we think the world of Dr. Lance Kugler and Dr. Stunts.
And tell them that you heard it from the Pat and JT podcast. It's Pat and JT everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. 402-403-9478. You can call us. You can text us.
Yes,
Just go to our
please.
website, patandjt.com.
Pat and JT Podcast. A Parkville Media Production.